Welcome to the Authentic Leaders Rising podcast, where high achieving entrepreneurs and leaders come to receive deep, insightful conversations and practical guidance to move from hustle to flow without sacrificing their authentic self and the results. I am your host and Chief Energy Officer, Tammy Cho, a former patient care leader turned international best-selling author, speaker, and face and body analysis expert. Get ready to lead your authenticity, lead your energy, and lead your impact. Hi, and welcome to the show. Today, I'm going to be talking about what does the physical symptom of having allergies actually mean psychosomatically, on a subconscious level, and how understanding this will really paint a picture of how well we actually know ourselves, how it can support you to uncover subconscious blocks, and inevitably how it affects your level of energy, performance, and your inner happiness. And I chose this topic because many people were not taught to connect to our own body communication. Therefore, many of us are not really tapping into this wealth of information to support them to uncover and unravel what their inner being is trying to tell them, and essentially what is in the way of their happiness, their performance, and truly letting in what they say they want. And what ends up happening for many high achieving entrepreneurs and leaders is that they're focusing on what needs to be done, like how they could do things like faster, better, more efficiently. And often the body is neglected. And of course, we're doing the best with what we know. And there's definitely a time and place for medications and such. However, many high achievers will take some form of medication or supplement to take care of the physical symptoms so we can feel better and keep on going about our day. But it actually is masking what is happening underneath on many layers than the physical level. Our body's physical manifestations of allergies, for example, actually speak to what is occurring within our emotionality on a deeper subconscious level. And unfortunately, over time, when we ignore our physical symptoms, this will create longer term physical ailments. So learning our body communication is actually an integral part of energy leadership because it actually becomes a sustainable way to maintain our performance, our health, our energy, right? And our level of happiness and vitality. But what happens is that many of us fall into these categories. Like depending on your level of connection with yourself, you may be having conscious awareness of the underlying emotionality and you are taking steps to address it. However, because I know that many are not necessarily making the connection between the body and their emotionality, it's not mainstream quite yet. And many are not taught this deeper psychosomatic connection between our body, wisdom, and communication, right? You'll likely fall into either, having a certain level of connection with yourself, but really trying to address this more at a surface level to feel better in the moment. For example, trying to stay positive or even consciously holding in or numbing out the emotions in some shape or form because of the uncomfortable feelings or pushing through emotions to keep getting what you need to get done in front of you, right? And this is exactly why our body becomes our blueprint to happiness and success, because what gets held in our emotionality also gets held in our body, only to be expressed through our face and body features, physical symptoms, and conditions, right? And this is the power of psychosomatic therapy and coming back to the authentic truth within ourselves and deepening our authentic self leadership. And of course, directly affecting our energy alignment and flow to really boost our performance and powerfully show up for our purpose and the impact we're here to make. And of course, the other way this shows up is our physical symptoms of having allergies can literally become accepted as our identity. Therefore, in our beingness and how we show up for our business and our life. So very much like the labels we place on ourselves, like I'm a mother, a brother, sister, an entrepreneur, or a professional, or calling ourselves a high achiever or caregiver, recovering perfectionist, whatever those aspects are. These are literally labels we have chosen to wear, aka believe is true about ourselves. Some creating more harm than others, of course, but we already know that what we believe to be true becomes our reality. So, similarly, for allergies or other health conditions, often can become the identity we have accepted. And what you need to know is that our body's symptoms and health challenges are actually speaking to that deeper emotionality within ourselves. And so often it is the exact thing that is blocking us from what we are striving to create in our goals, what we're investing our time, money, and resources in, and also the feeling we are wanting to feel once it's all accomplished. So, coming back to allergies, while we may have an allergy, how we choose to identify with the allergy often speak a lot to our identification with the underlying emotions and subconscious patterns that physical ailment is actually represented by at a deeper level. So, if you're wanting to learn more about what is the psychosomatic meaning behind your physical ailments or challenges you may be experiencing, I'll be sharing at the end how you can tap into this free resource to support you really on this journey of connecting to your body communication in this way so you can elevate your energy flow and your performance. So be sure to stay tuned to the very end, okay? So, diving in now, this is how the physical ailment of having an allergy played out for one of my clients. And one of my past clients, essentially, who had worked with me previously on a one to one capacity, had decided to work with me again and had taken the summer off to go on vacation before we restarted. And so, as an energy leadership coach and a face and body analysis expert, I will ask my clients to send me pictures of their face and their body with the intention of really learning their strengths and challenges, subconscious blocks, and any internal conflicts that are really blocking this energy flow. And for this particular client, because I already had taken a face analysis before, it would be a follow up analysis where I could highlight what has shifted since we started coaching. And it also provides us map on what are the next steps to move towards. And often, of course, this provides both of us with a personalized roadmap to their authentic truths and desires and what may be in the way of where they say they want to go. And so she came back to me to tell me I can't take the pictures because she was having an allergic reaction that was affecting her left eye to the extent it was actually the swelling was affecting her eyesight. And then it was also moving to her right eye. And this was playing out for the entire week and hasn't gone away. And this is not usual for her, right? I suggested that we continue with our first coaching sessions and we could take the pictures when the swelling improves. And what I am aware of, right, is that allergies speak to one or more of the following, energy patterns. It can speak to inner crying, if you will, trying to elicit love in an indirect manner. It can be speaking to feelings like you're up against a wall, right? Reacting to what feels like maybe emotional threat to your inner being. It can also speak to feeling overrun by feelings that don't seem to have a solution because there's a part of yourself that doesn't feel like you have the power to change it. And even suppressed anger, where you may be having an irritation reaction to the life situation, instead of actually addressing the anger directly, perhaps with the person or in a healthier way. So she was taking allergy medicines to help with the swelling and wanted to not waste any more time and dive right in. But I redirected the conversation to the body symptom, really letting her know that the swelling, the allergies she was experiencing was definitely highlighting to her and trying to get her attention. So, really, instead of leading the session with where we should go, we dived into the allergy as the guiding topic because when we allow our body to guide, it guides us exactly to where we need to go. And if there's anything I've learned is that when we tap into the body, we always get to where we need to go more efficiently and to what is true versus what is right. One being led by the mind and the other by the wisdom of your body. Upon further exploration, what we found is that when she was on her trip, her teenage daughter had expressed how unhappy she was to be on that trip, which really caused a bit of kerfuffle and uneasiness between her mother and her sister. And as we dived a bit deeper into this situation, and when she was, honest with herself, although a part of her wanted to be with family and be there for everyone, a part of her was tired of traveling overseas so much in the recent years. And she was going more frequently previously to visit her dad, who had a stroke, but he was much farther along in his recovery now. But she still felt this need to be that good daughter. And so she admitted that within herself that she had booked a shorter time overseas to compensate for these feelings of guilt that she should go, but in reality, she didn't truly want to because there's things that she needed to take care for herself. And she was on this next step of, she's a recovering people pleaser. And yet there was another layer here that was really getting her. And so from where her swelling began, right over her left eye, showed me that she was holding in a lot of emotions that was accumulating there. And there was that inner crying piece that was blocking her ability to really see herself in the situation clearly. And also the fact it started to swell and move over to the right eye, right? It was really affecting the way she was seeing things on the outside too. And my client's allergy, she felt she was between a rock and a hard place emotionally, right? Feeling the guilt and the inner crying, so to speak, and not feeling she had a choice to say no. She felt she'd fallen back into that subconscious, need to be that good girl, for dad and the family and things like that. And because she created the shorter trip to compensate, right? How this manifested out in her life was it was reflected directly back to her strongly from her teenager's reaction to the whole situation and not wanting to be there and rather being home with her friends versus with family and such, right? A very similar energy pattern, right? And while these seem like two isolated incidences based on teaching someone energy leadership and how energy dynamics work, what she was struggling with in herself manifested through her own daughter's experience because she was leading. She made the decisions with that energy, whether she was aware of it or not. And so when we are making decisions from a subconscious place of having different aspects of our emotions, our inner child wanting one thing and another aspect of inner child of ourselves wanting something different, this is often why we are creating mixed results and outcomes in our lives. This can look like knowing all the steps you need to take, but a part of you may feel like you are dragging your feet, or you notice you are trying to do the thing, but it seems like it's taking you forever. And what used to take you like an hour is taking you like half the day or longer. It's really subtle. And if we let our mind run the show and tell us things, like it could really easily be ignored. And so this is where our authentic self leadership comes in, right? This is where being connected to our body and our emotions and learning to step into leading our choices from an elevated energy matters, because everything that was created from that consciousness of energy, well, we are recreating the similar results, right? And perhaps with different faces, but the energy pattern is still there. And often the energy patterns are recreated into our relationships around us in some shape or form, which then stimulate the same feelings of emotionality within ourselves that we're avoiding to feel. So, it really is perpetuating the cycle where when we're not addressing life, looking at energy in this way, we're literally recreating the same thing with different faces and realities. I mean, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and wanting to create a different result. We just doesn't work that way based on energetics. And this also points to the importance of self-awareness and this level, deepening level, this level of connection and intimacy within ourselves. And although this was happening in my client's personal life, guess what? It was also affecting her level of performance and energy and happiness in her work as well. Like many people can logically understand that when, things are not working in our home life, it could affect our ability to perform optimally in our business and work. It affects our level of conviction, our confidence, our connection to our clients and colleagues. And the mistake many high achievers make is that they are not like always seeing the interconnectedness, that the same energy patterns that are blocking in your personal life is also affecting the energy patterns in the work life. And in addition, and her body was really calling her back in towards with her allergies, right? And so really it's time for us to reconnect to our life in this way, to see the interconnectedness of our body symptoms, dis-ease, subconscious blocks that are affecting our health and performance in this way, as well as the connection between business, work, and personal relationships, right? It's time to not see things separately. It's time. We're all connected. We often hear that, but we're not necessarily applying that on a regular basis. If we spend a lot of our energy in business and not on the personal, it's actually playing out similarly and it's affecting the other directly, energetically, even though the mind does not understand it and therefore it doesn't make sense. And yeah, because if we're paying attention, all the answers are literally right in front of us. I often do the full body analysis to look for these energy patterns. One of her other, like my client, how this was actually showing up for her was that she was developing pulps in her uterus. And I had to remind her, like the psychosomatic body communication, that it was calling out for her because pulps speak to feeling trapped emotionally and feeling chained to a wall, so to speak. And because this was in the uterus part of the body, there's a part of her that didn't feel safe to really connect and manifest her true inner desires and creativity. And so for allergies, it's a smaller nuance, so to speak, for our physical body, whereas pulps highlight a deeper subconscious pattern that has been created over time, right? When we don't allow ourselves to feel deeply, we also are often neglecting how connected we are to our deeper desires. Very much our sacral is basically the source of, what do you call it? Energy flow. It's like the mother aspect of our body to really express and create from, right? And so a lot of this has to do with our ability to feel and connect to these parts within ourselves. And so this is the pattern I see in so many high achievers I work with, is that they can create so much success on the outside. However, when you ask what they actually want, their true desires, they often feel a bit stumped. They can say all the things, all the goals they should be able to reach, whether that's monetary and whether that's a goal in the relationship and things like that. But like when I ask them what they want to really be connected to it in this way, often struggle with it. And this is not blame, shame, or guilt. It's just understanding that most of us are not necessarily trained that being in our emotionality is safe, is welcome, and all those things, right? And so that is affecting the quality of our connection to our desires, our deepening desires. Because when we haven't addressed the emotionality with the feelings, we can't really change it, right? And so that's the repeating patterns that keep on happening. And so when my client connected to these pieces, she realized that in her younger years, it hit her that she used to have swelling in her eyes. And although she couldn't remember the exact incidences, like it dawned on her that this was a familiar pattern that played out from younger years. And she didn't realize how much emotion she was holding in. So much energy was releasing from my client's body in the session. She was yawning like crazy. She stepped out of the illusion that she didn't have the choice in the situation. And she felt so much relief come out from her body. I could see energy leaving her body and the yawning, and the swelling started to go down. And when we listen, our body is also listening. And my client had all the steps she needed to do. It was this deeper pattern that was actually coming up again to be addressed and released, because she was moving into her next level of growth and evolution. And in her life, and she's doing so much better, putting herself first already. But this pattern was still playing out more strongly than she had realized. And it's not to discount all the work she's done on herself, but because every time we reach this next level of growth, we're being called to something deeper within in our emotionality as well. And her body was highlighting strongly to let her know that. And so it's not that she hasn't progressed, because we could see on her facial analysis the shifts and changes, right? It's that she was going through that upper limiting, so to speak, where she was hitting the next level, and it was a way to sabotage her. And some of these things happen so subconsciously. But when we bring the subconscious to the conscious, right, she realized how entrenched it was. And this was playing out. She realized so many areas in her work and personal decisions that was affecting how she was using her own time, energy, and resources, and wearing her energy down for more forward momentum and that happiness and performance she so wanted. And so let me leave you with this. What regular body symptoms have been trying to get your attention? Are they more acute ailments, or have they been long-term, more chronic challenges for you? And after listening to this episode and understanding the connection between our physical conditions and our emotionality, will you create the time to be with the feelings, the emotions that are underneath? Now, I know that you may not know what the psychosomatic meaning of what is being expressed in your body. And this is my gift to you. I invite you to come join my Facebook group, Energetically Aligned Leaders. You will have the opportunity to share any physical ailments, challenges you are experiencing. I do weekly trainings on a variety of topics on the body, the performance, energy, and leadership. But once a month, I will be taking all the physical symptoms people shared with me, and I'll be speaking about these ailments so you could tap into the psychosomatic symptoms to go deeper within yourself with it, right? I'll be doing a Q&A once a month to dive into these ailments and to really support you and letting you know what your body is trying to tell you. And so if you want to know what your body is trying to tell you, click on the link below and click on joining the Facebook group. And I'd be happy to invite you into our group to really support you in this way. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I look forward to supporting you inside of my Facebook community. Much love. I'll see you in the group or on my next show. Lots of love. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to the Authentic Leaders Rising podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe to our podcast so you never miss an episode, and leave us a review so others can find the life-changing content that we're sharing here. We are starting our movement on our way to number 1, and we need your help to get there. If you'd like to connect with other high-achieving entrepreneurs and leaders who are also on their authentic, energetic leadership journey, join our free Facebook community, Energetically Aligned Leaders. Go to pathtotheheart.com polyp.com/links to join the Facebook group, book your personalized face analysis experience, or to access our resources.